I'm going to present my audience of my persuasive speech.
Hi, I'm Maya.
Hi, I'm Adam.
I was just barely 18 years old when I became pregnant with my son. My first thought was, am I mentally and financially stable to raise a baby on my own as a teen mother? At the time, I had no job and I had no money saved up. Am I ready to be a teen mom? After outweighing the pros and the cons of my unwanted pregnancy, my answer was no. The cons outweighed the pros. I could not raise my son not knowing that I could provide everything that he needed. I ended up choosing an adoption plan for him. Adoption was my only option at the time, and the hardest decision that I've ever had to make. When choosing an adoption plan for your baby, you have many options on what type of adoption you want to proceed with. There is an open adoption. You receive pictures, letters, updates, personal information can be shared, and you may even get visitation with your child. The second form of adoption is a mediated adoption, also known as a semi-open adoption. You can do the same thing in this adoption, receive pictures, receive letters, receive updates, but minimal information is shared and no visitations can happen. Pictures and updates are usually given to you by a third party. You don't do it directly between the adoptive parents and the birth parents. A closed adoption is self-explanatory. You don't get pictures, you don't get updates, you don't get letters, no information is shared, you don't know anything about your child or the family that they are going to be living with. Before choosing an adoption, you must feel comfortable with your decision. Adoption cannot in any way be reversed. This is something that I did struggle with. I, for a while, did not feel comfortable with my decision. I admit that. It took me quite some time to be able to deal with it and to even be able to talk to anybody about it. Now I stand here today proud of my decision, and I'm happy where my son is at right now. The pictures I receive go a long way, and the letters that I do receive may be short, but they say a million words to me. I originally wanted an open adoption, but I didn't get that because my adoption agency had no families that wanted open adoptions. They only offered mediated adoptions, and they only offered closed adoptions. I ended up choosing a mediated adoption so I could have some sort of relief knowing how my son is doing. I can never live life not knowing how he is, who he is, where he is, or what he even looked like. I have currently maintained a long-distance, no direct contact with his adoptive family for 8 years now. We have a pretty good relationship. I do receive pictures, updates, and letters whenever I want. It's just an email or a phone call away. And letters do go both ways. I can write them too, and my caseworker or my adoption counselor will get the letters I write to them. Now open adoptions, back to open adoptions. They are far more common than anybody thinks. 14,000 to 18,000 adoptions occur each year. 55% of them are fully open adoptions. 45% are mediated open adoptions, and there's a small percent of 5% that is closed. Open adoptions are also misinterpreted. Birth parents feel like they have a say in raising the child, and they don't. This interpretation is wrong. According to USA Today, open adoptions, adoptive families, need to live up to their commitment, and birth parents need to realize that this open adoption they have is not co-parenting. A lot of people get confused about that. What everyone considering an adoption needs to know is adoption is a lifelong situation for both parties, the birth parent, the adoptive parents, and even the child that's been adopted. After an adoption has taken place, feelings of depression can come up on both sides. The birth parents can have a sense of guilt, confusion, loss, and the adoptive parents can have the same exact feelings. but just know that these feelings are usually only temporary. They do subside with time. And there is that small percentage of women that do feel lifelong guilt and depression because of an adoption, but with treatment, it can help them ease their pain a little bit. When a woman, whether you are a teen or a grown-up, end up with an unwanted pregnancy, adoption should always be an option. It does not matter what type of adoption you choose. However, it does matter that your child is raised by the parents that can provide what you cannot. Like me, I wanted a better life for my son, and that's exactly what I gave him. Another thing all birth parents must know is adoption is nothing to be ashamed of. You don't need to be scared about it. Adoption is okay. It is not frowned upon. You should feel grateful that you have the choice to give your child a better life. You should also have a sense of relief knowing your child is being raised just like you want them to be. And in most cases, the birth parents get to single-handedly pick the adoptive family. Your adoption agency will give you a book that you can look through. You can read the biography on the family, see where they live, see pictures of the family, and you can even read family history. Now, I am not persuading all women or all parents to choose adoption. However, I am just letting you know that adoption is okay if you feel like you just can't do it. It is an option for you. In many adoptions, you can very well be part of your child's life directly or indirectly through pictures, videos, like I said before. There are many resources that can help you during, after, and before the adoption process. Now, a couple of these resources are located here in Michigan, and they are the Michigan Adoption Resource Exchange, and they do have a website. And my resource that I use is Forever Families, and that's an adoption agency in Novi, Michigan. Before making a decision, you need to talk to a counselor to know what your options are. You can even talk to a counselor about your thoughts, about your feelings. Even if you don't even go through with the adoption process, if you're thinking about it, you can still talk to somebody. Adoption, like I said, is always an option. It's an option to where you can better your life, your child's life, and the life of a couple that has been longing for a child. I am so grateful you have given me the chance to give my speech on adoptions. I have first-hand experience. Thank you and have a wonderful day. I'm going to present my audience again.
And I'm Adam.
Thank you.